Welcome to What's Leadership with Liz Wiltsey. I'm Liz Wiltsey, and every week I invite someone different to weigh in on essential leadership questions with actionable insight. What I've found over more than 13 years of coaching and mentoring leaders is that real leadership is about asking questions and being open to wisdom from unexpected sources. Each episode is less than 20 minutes and meant to bring new perspective for leaders. Hi, everyone. I'm welcoming Rebecca Davidson to the podcast today. Rebecca is an intuitive coach and mentor and the founder of the Intuitive Life Academy. And I've invited her to join us to discuss intuition and leadership. So without further ado, Rebecca, what do you think is the biggest challenge that leaders face at work?
Oh, this is such a great question. And from my experience, I think the biggest challenge that leaders face are realizing that if you want to get the best out of people, if you want to help people to be motivated and to reach their full potential, you need to see them holistically, and that includes all their emotions. And this can be difficult for leaders because we have extroverts, we have introverts, we have different personality types, everybody's wired differently, people have different family values. So it can be a real minefield, like let alone being the leader and being the person who has their own kind of field of influence, which is made up of all their thoughts, beliefs, etc. So awareness is key in regards to leadership. And also being the person who is prepared to see that everybody is a unique individual, and your job as the leader is to help them feel safe emotionally so they can feel motivated to create that potential. And of course, that is a whole different ballgame from just turning up to an environment and going, okay, this is our job, and let's use our rational mind and our intellect to create the result. You know, it's really about what energy do you want your team to be operating in, and really giving that some careful thought and consideration, because energy is everything. It doesn't have an agenda, it doesn't lie, it just is what it is. So as a leader, it's really important to go, okay, I need to be so aware so I can actually see what is happening on people on perhaps a different level to be able to assist them. You know, I'll give you an example. Like if somebody goes into a work environment and somebody says, how are you doing? And they say, I'm fine. And you can clearly see that that person is not fine. As a leader, you do not want to ignore that, because that is going to impact your whole team environment. If somebody's got something that's going on that's an emotional problem, it needs to be addressed. You need to at least note it and extend some help. But also, too, you need to be aware enough to be able to see that that's what's happening for that person. Yeah, hugely important. So it's a big challenge, right? It's a huge challenge because it's about recognizing that people, more than just their job and what they're there to do, they want to be in an environment where they feel safe, loved, and connected and seen.
Yeah. So to that end, what do you think, what is your kind of number one tip for addressing that at work?
As a leader, you need to be very good. There's so many tips, actually. First one is learn how to read energy, right? Learn how to do that. Learn how to see, oh, look, that person's a bit flat today. You know, because people are going through stuff, right? Life has its challenges. Stuff can be really difficult. So we need to be, if we want to be a really effective and good leader, we need to speak to people's hearts, and we need to see them as more than just, you know, what they're there to do. We need to be the person who's going to go, okay, I'm going to use my own intuitive awareness to read what is happening in this situation to be able to help that person get a better result. And people are often doing this naturally all the time, but they're just not going to the next step, which is the conscious communication. So as a leader, get really aware. Big part of that, though, is to look at your own stuff, because that's a big part of authenticity. As a leader, if you can be authentic and offer vulnerability, you will have people in your team who will be loyal, who will go to the ends of the earth for you, and who will show up in a big way, right? They'll feel motivated because they feel cared for, they feel seen, and they feel safe. And that is a huge thing to be able to offer people. So if you're a leader, you want to get to know yourself really well. You want to get to know what makes you tick, and to be able to be vulnerable with people and say, hey, I've struggled with that before myself. And then to be able to create that connection. So even having those moments every now and then, like a good boss is somebody, or a good leader is somebody who can identify that and offer that to people and say, hey, I know we're working on this common cause, but I see you. I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. And part of that is the emotional component.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So in your experience, what's been the most impactful sort of concept, book, talk that you deal with around this?
I would say that would be coming into alignment with truth. And truth for a lot of people can be scary. Like on one hand, it can be scary. On the worst side of that, people consider it to be dangerous. But the truth is, this is the beautiful thing about energy. It tells you what the truth is. You go into a meeting, you can read the energy, and how like the leader might be standing up doing a talk and nobody's engaged. That is the truth. But often we ignore that. So, and a good leader also too will give people back to themselves, right? That instead of being like a power hog, right? They will help people to step into their own power and to become self-actualized, because that's really what people want. People want to know what it feels like to reach their full potential. And a great leader will help people to do that by giving them the accountability and the responsibility. So it's a give and take, right? To be able to go, yes, I'm here for you and I can help facilitate change and growth. However, what do you think the solution is? Let's discuss it and see if that feels like a great idea, or I can give you this perspective, or maybe you've thought about this. But helping people to own their own power, and a lot of that comes back to being prepared to speak the truth.
So what should I have asked you that I didn't?
A question that I get asked a lot, which I think is important when it comes to intuition, is what's the difference between intuition and fear? Yeah, so the answer to that question is a lot of people don't realize that your intuition, or intuition, as Americans would say, is beyond emotion. So if you're experiencing fear, that is a physical, emotional reaction. That's not your intuition, right? Your intuition is beyond that. You have local, which is in your body, and non-local, which is out in the ether as such, intuition. However, intuition is coming from a place of a higher frequency, greater awareness, and it's always about connection. It's always about love. It's always, because often too, right? Sometimes your intuition will tell you something like you need to leave that relationship, or it's time to get out of this job because it's sucking your soul, right? And people will be in that space of knowing that that is occurring, but they're ignoring it. So sometimes your intuition might ask you to do something that is outside of your comfort zone, and that may seem scary. However, you have to ask yourself longer term, is this going to bring me more in alignment with love, happiness, fulfillment? Because that is always what your inner guidance is looking to do. And fear is just usually stop, block, paralyzing. So they come from completely different places. Often the fear will come from a thought process that's originated in your mind, and then it creates that biochemical reaction where you feel it in your body. Intuition is coming from a completely different frequency.
That's super, super interesting. And I hadn't thought about it that way before, right? So you have a free resource for us. Tell us about it.
So this is a client attraction meditation. So no matter what we're doing, we need clients, right? And what I have noticed is that often people, they want more clients, but often they have a lot of fear about inviting people into their life and world. I've literally, because I've read a lot of people's energy, right? I do it every day for my work. So I've often seen it where people, they want to be a leader, but they don't actually like people, right? Because they've been hurt by people previously, right? They've had circumstances in their lives where people have been unkind, cruel, mean. So how do you step into that space where you're wanting to launch this enterprise business, whatever it is, and you have maybe some of these wounds from the past or past energy that is holding us back? So this client attraction meditation is really about how can I be in a space where I feel safe to invite people in? What energy do I need to be running for it to be safe to have more people come into my life and world and feel like I'm safe, I can trust them, I can be discerning, I know what's happening, and it feels good. Because often too, right, I work with quite a few people who are starting their businesses, and what they don't realize is that everything is about the energy. If you're in the energy of like, I'm ready and I'm ready to bring people into my life and world, you can manifest clients just like that. If you have some blocks in the way, then it's a good thing to be aware of that, because that's probably going to be holding you back, especially in regards to the next evolution of what more looks like for you. So this client attraction meditation is really about running the energy so it can actually show up in your reality.
Great. Thank you, Rebecca, for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
You've been listening to What's Leadership with Liz Wiltsey. For a full transcript and links to everything we mentioned today, visit podcast.centendraymethod.com. I'm going to spell that for you. Centendre is SENTENDRE method, METHOD.com, or at What's Leadership on Instagram. You can find us in both places. So we look forward to hearing from you.